Hello, people. I'm back with another quick video. The reason why I'm making this video now is because I had the misfortune of watching this video with Van Jones. I think it was yesterday, and he's speaking to a family in Pennsylvania, and they're giving them excuses as to why they voted for uh, Donald Trump as opposed to Hillary Clinton. So they could not vote for Hillary Clinton because she's hurt the working class people. Um, I could understand that as being a reason not to vote for somebody, but not a reason to vote for somebody who has no interest in helping you out. Um, and so Van goes through this process of saying, "Hey, race might be a part of it, but it's a little part of it, and there's all these other factors." And the thing is, I have to push back at that. For one thing, there's no evidence because Trump didn't make any promises as far as helping out the average person financially, um, other than bringing jobs back, but he hasn't laid out a specific plan on how to do that. It was just rhetoric. However, what I did hear on uh, I believe it was a Sam Cedar interview, another guy from Pennsylvania said he spoke to people in private, and they said that they know they can't fight against the corporations, but they can make sure that they fare better than black people, and that there was an anti-blackness, a big anti-blackness component to it. So, the thing is that I feel that Van is being used as a prop uh, to try to, gain the trust and make it seem as though he's getting sincere answers from people who genuinely have other concerns. However, one thing that I want to point out to people of color, specifically black people and Native Americans, the ones who have suffered the biggest injustices on the land now known as the United States, white people do not have any reason to be honest with you about racism. There's nothing, when you ask them a question, they don't have a golden lasso wrapped around them where they're forced to tell you the truth. They can lie to you about racism with a straight face because they've been conditioned from childhood to lie to you about it. We talk about this stuff inside the house. We don't talk about it to people outside unless you're in all white circles. So when this family's they're on camera and they're speaking with Van, who's somewhat of a celebrity out there. Most people, if you see him on the street, you'll recognize him from CNN. Do you expect them to be honest with Van Jones about their, racism being a strong inclination for them to vote for Trump? That they may have noticed that immigrant populations, non-white populations were growing at a rapid pace and that white people would be in the minority. Can you expect them to reveal that to Van Jones on national TV of all people? They're not going to do it. They're going to lie. They're going to misrepresent things. If you really probe them and they feel comfortable, like say if a white person and they're not on camera, and I'm going to include the link of the guy who made that revelation. If they feel comfortable, they'll tell you, "Hey, yes, I don't want to fare worse than black people. I don't want to fare worse than immigrant people. I know the corporations aren't looking out for me, but the Democrats are looking after black people too much and not trying to help me out. So I know with Republicans, they're going to let them suffer first or worse." There is a there is a anti-black nature to it. Um, there was a study showing that immigrants from the South, they may have had a neutral view of black people if they've never watched TV or movies, but if they've watched American TV or American movies, they have a negative opinion of black people based upon their portrayal in movies and television shows. So there is constant anti-black propaganda going on in TV, movies, school, work, and the news. Well, I guess that qualifies as media, but it's not for entertainment. And that's constantly being drilled into people's head. Now, I'm a person of color, and I can say it's affected me. I mean, I have impulse reactions in certain areas, not based upon my personal experience, but based on the socialization and the programming that this that this society drills into you. So the thing is, the main point is, I'm really nervous about people being confused. I was watching a series recently about the Nazi death squads, and I was always wondering, why didn't these people run? Why didn't they flee? A lot of times it's because they took solace in people saying, "Oh no, I'm not racist. Oh no, we're good people, and most people are good people, and they wouldn't let things happen." No, there were millions of people killed, and the good people just walked by idly by and not helping out. So you can't trust that people are going to be honest with you about racism. Oh, and here's another thing. I came to a real strong understanding on how white supremacy works by watching the context of white supremacy program, the cows. And this particular interview with Julie Landsman, she was pressured somewhat to kind of reveal, the different things that are withheld from non-white people about racism. And one thing she shared that really stuck with me, months after first hearing this interview, was that she said that every white person, she said the Klan used to always wear white and was fully shrouded so that you couldn't identify them. You couldn't see who they were. She said every white person is capable of doing that, to displaying one thing and showing themselves, but being actually another, being duplicitous. And she also acknowledges that every white person is racist and that you are wasting your time attempting to convert them over. She admitted that personally, and she's a white person. She admitted that you are not going to be able to convert people over from being racist. Racism is reinforced in all white circles when no people of color around through racist jokes, stereotypes, all the time. There's a great book. It's called Two-Faced Racism by Joe Fagan and Leslie Pica. It's journals of different interactions in all white circles of people, the different things they were told to do. You even have acknowledgments in that book from journal of employees being told not to hire or not to interview black applicants. But you're led to believe that this stuff doesn't happen. The thing is, right now, I think things are getting a little too dangerous. I think that there are a lot of parallels between this recent election and the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany in the early 1930s. Call it hyperbolic if you will. Uh, Obviously, most people in Germany felt a little complacent and thought things were exaggerated until it was too late. So, the wise ones like, Albert Einstein left early because he was able to recognize what was going on. The thing is, reason and the facts and logic are dismissed, in favor of the ideology of white supremacy. And if you're confused, you're going to see it closer and closer. But the thing is, you don't want to be a tragic victim, somebody who suffers a violent attack because you carelessly thought that, hey, this white person has my back and they would never do anything to hurt me and they would come to my defense if I was attacked. No, no. I did a previous video stating that studies have shown, up to 98, 99% of people will not come to the defense when witnessing a racial incident. So all this talk about good people, no, people go with the crowd. If the majority of people, or if they feel it's socially acceptable to act a certain way, they'll do it. There was in that recent programming I watched, they stated that it had become commonplace and acceptable for Jews in not even just in Germany, but in Eastern Europe, which is something that was a revelation to me, and I'm going to really get into that when I do a review of that series, how it was acceptable for them to be pushed, beat up, even killed with impunity. And I think we're starting to see, the beginning stages of that now in the U.S. with the recent election. So people need to be vigilant. They need to open their eyes up to what's real and not what they, any idealized view of the world or specifically the United States, and just come to understand they can't gamble their safety on an idealized view of human nature, or that people are good and will intervene on their behalf.